I have never posted a story that was so terrifying I couldn't finish it until now. This one is called They Are Coming For You, and if you didn't know, we got a second channel. Sleep paralysis is the inability to move or speak while falling asleep or upon waking up. Most of the time, people who experience sleep paralysis see hallucinations while it's happening. Sometimes those hallucinations are friendly, but most of the time they're pretty scary. The first story is called Demonic Presence in My Room While Sleep Paralyzed. It's from a Reddit user. When I was a teenager, around 14 or 15 years old, I used to have sleep paralysis quite often. One night I was experiencing sleep paralysis, and I remember thrashing about in bed trying to get free. All of a sudden I felt a cold spot right at the foot of my bed. I tried to move my legs but couldn't. Then I heard what sounded like demonic whispering coming from the foot of my bed. I started screaming at the top of my lungs, but no sound came out. I don't remember much after that because I passed out from exhaustion, but I distinctly remember my mom rushing into my room asking what happened. I guess I had made a noise when she entered the room. I told her about the whispering and the cold spot. She checked under the bed and said everything was fine. Since then, I've moved out and haven't experienced sleep paralysis since. However, I still sometimes hear the whispering. If I hear it, I instantly bolt upright in bed and I can't go back to sleep. Now I keep a nightlight on at all times. Now for the second story, Reddit user says. When I was a child, I used to get sleep paralysis every single night. I would be unable to move or make a sound, and there would be this extremely heavy feeling on my chest, making it hard to breathe. Sometimes I would hallucinate and see shadow figures standing over me, or hear whispers or voices speaking to me. Those were the scariest nights of all, because I didn't know if I should try and fight the heavy weight on my chest or run away from the voice. Looking back, I think it was the anxiety caused by the voices that made the heavy feeling worse. Eventually, I grew out of sleep paralysis, and now it only happens very rarely. The last time it happened was 2 weeks ago. I was having a recurring dream about being chased through a dark forest by an unknown creature. I knew something was behind me, but I couldn't turn around to see what it was. I could feel its hot breath on my neck and hear its claws scraping against the ground. As I ran, I turned around and looked back. The creature was close, but I could see its face. It was a humanoid with long, sharp teeth and black eyes. It looked at me, and I woke up. I thought it was just a dream, but then I realized I couldn't move, and it was still breathing heavily. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. I tried to sit up, and the heavy feeling lifted. I bolted upright in bed and have not experienced sleep paralysis since. Now for the explanation for these stories. I actually found something interesting regarding shadow people. Shadow people are commonly seen during sleep paralysis. So let's talk about them for a minute. Shadow people are typically described as dark, shadowy figures that appear at the edge of your vision. They're usually faceless, although some people report seeing a face on them. Many people who see shadow people say they feel a sense of dread or fear when they do. There isn't any concrete evidence that shadow people exist, and many researchers believe that they are simply a product of the imagination. However, one researcher believes that they may be interdimensional beings that exist outside of our perception. According to this researcher, shadow people are able to enter our world through portals that open up during sleep paralysis. This explains why they seem to appear and interact with us during this state. It's also possible that shadow people are simply projections of our own subconscious minds. After all, sleep paralysis is a state of intense emotions, both positive and negative. Our brains may use this energy to create vivid hallucinations. Whatever the case may be, shadow people are definitely a scary phenomenon that many people experience. If you ever see one, I hope you don't run away from it, because then it will chase you forever. Just kidding, probably. Now for the third story. A Reddit user says, I'm posting this here because I do want to deal with the comments on my post on another subreddit. Also, I'm not crazy. I don't believe in ghosts or demons, but I need answers. This happened to me a year ago, while I was visiting my parents' house. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I had just finished watching a movie. I decided to take a nap, but when I did, I couldn't move. I tried to call out for help, but no sound came out. I felt like I was being watched. I started to panic, but then I relaxed and closed my eyes. A moment later, I saw a little girl standing next to my bed. She was wearing a Victorian nightgown, and her hair was covering her face. She stood there for a few seconds before she floated toward the closet. I tried to tell my mom, but I couldn't move or speak. The girl came back out of the closet and walked toward me. She was now smiling, and she had a knife in her hand. She raised the knife above her head and brought it down. I woke up to the sound of my mom screaming. She'd been calling for me for 10 minutes. I explained what I had seen, but she just laughed it off. I don't know what to think. Am I going insane? Or was I visited by a demon? Please help. Alright, moving on to the fourth story. A Reddit user says, I've always had sleep paralysis pretty frequently throughout my life, and I've learned to live with it. Recently, though, I've been having this recurring dream that I can't escape. Every time I fall asleep, I have this dream that I'm being chased through a dark forest by some unseen entity. The forest is always the same. There are tall trees with bare branches, and the ground is covered in dry leaves. I can feel the entity getting closer and closer, and I can hear its heavy breathing. I try to run away, but I never get very far. The entity always catches me, and I wake up in a panic. When I'm awake, I can still feel the presence of the entity. And it feels like it's watching me and waiting for me to go back to sleep, so it can catch me again. This has been happening to me for weeks, and I'm starting to lose sleep because of it. I'm too afraid to go to sleep at night, because I do not want to have that dream again. I don't know what to do. Can someone please help me? Out for the final story. A Reddit user says, this happened recently and I'm still recovering from it. I was sleep paralyzed, and I tried to move my arm, but I couldn't, so I gave myself a mental command to move. Of course, nothing happened. Then I realized that I wasn't alone in the room. There was another presence there. I tried to scream, but I couldn't. Then the presence started to move closer to me. I could feel its cold breath on my skin, and then I saw it. It was a hunched-over figure with long arms and legs. Its face was hidden in the darkness, but I could see its eyes. They were glowing red. The creature leaned closer and whispered in my ear. I don't know what it said, but it was something terrible. It sounded like nails on a chalkboard, and it echoed in my mind. Then it lunged at me, and I woke up. I was shaking and crying. I'm still traumatized by what happened. I don't want to go to sleep ever again. And now for the shadow people explanation. Shadow people are a fascinating phenomenon that has been reported by people all over the world. While there is no scientific evidence to support their existence, there are many theories as to what they could be. Some believe that shadow people are simply figments of our imagination, created by our own subconscious minds. Others believe that they are interdimensional beings that exist outside of our perception. Whatever the case may be, shadow people are definitely a scary phenomenon that many people experience. If you ever see one, I hope you don't run away from it, because then it will chase you forever. Just kidding, probably. It's not a dream if it touches you. Comment if you agree. And if you want to see more short videos, stay tuned. Thanks for watching.